my name is Tom, and this is my video on the 30th anniversary of the Saab NG900. Because I own one of the early ones, and it's 30 this year, and they also turned 30 this year, I thought, why not make a video? Enjoy!
Saab, from £15,000 and upwards. Saab, beyond the conventional.
This is a quote from the Saab brochure 95. Should you ask a few Saab 900 owners just why they choose their cars, you would almost certainly receive a different range of answers. One person may choose it for its superb handling, another may appreciate its Saabish design, while a cockpit view seen from the driver's seat may appeal to a third. They may have chosen their Saab 900 on the basis of their feelings, but each has his or her own individual reasons. If you ask us why we build a Saab 900, the answer is simple. We build cars which we ourselves would like to own, cars we know appeal to many enthusiasts, with safety for every occupant, concern for the environment, advanced engine technology, and an unusual number of practical features. That's what makes a typical Saab. So obviously there are many good reasons for taking a close look at the new Saab 900. You'll probably discover your own highly individual reason for liking it. The Saab NG900 Coupe and 5-door was produced in Sweden at the Trollhättan plant. The convertible models were made in Finland. This was the first Saab produced under the new owners General Motors. First cars hit the UK streets in October 1993. These would all be 5-door cars. The Coupe would arrive late spring, early summer 94, and finally the convertible was added in 1995. Prices started at just under $15,000 for the 2-litre model. The 900S Coupe did not get a rear wiper, rev counter or black panel unless the option pack was selected on the base model. These models did not come fitted with alloy wheels or have colour-coded bumpers. At launch, there were 3 solid colours and 7 metallic. The interior upholstery had 3 leather colour options, 3 velour and 3 cloth. During the 4-year production run there were 4 engines available, all petrol with no diesel options. The entry level was a 2-litre 16-valve. This had 130 brake horsepower and was designated the B204i engine. With a little bit more power at 150 horsepower was the 2.3i 16-valve 4-cylinder again. This was a B234 engine. New to Saab for 94 was a General Motors sourced 54 degree V6. This was a 2.5 V6 24-valve with 170 horsepower. The range-topping engine was the legendary B204L. This was a 2-litre 16-valve 185 horsepower turbo engine. In terms of gearboxes, the standard gearbox was a 5-speed. It was obviously front-wheel drive with full synchro mesh. There was an optional 4-speed auto-electro hydraulically controlled system with 3 programs and direct mechanical lockup in 3rd and 4th gear. Exclusive to the 2-litre turbo was the Saab Sensonic. There is no clutch pedal even though the car is fitted with a manual gearbox. The clutch is operated completely automatically by an electromechanical actuator governed by a system of sensors and electronics. This only lasted 4 years and was discontinued for the new model, so it obviously wasn't a success. In terms of fuel tank capacity, these cars are generous. They all have a 68-litre tank fitted. Brakes, anti-lock braking system is fitted on all cars, power-assisted disc brakes all round with ventilated front discs. The front suspension has McPherson spring struts with direct-acting gas shock absorbers and anti-roll bar. The wishbones are split type and they are made of forged aluminium. The rear has a semi-rigid rear axle with inner and outer anti-roll bars and coil springs with gas shock absorbers. As many people are aware, the NG900 is based on the mid-sized transverse engine front-wheel drive GM 2900 platform. This platform was in production from 1988 through to 2010. Saab did, however, make considerable changes to some parts of these to improve the platform. The 2900 was used on the following GM models: 1988 to 95 Opel Vectra A, Vauxhall Cavalier, and 93 to 96 Chevrolet Vectra A, 90 to 97 Opel Calibra, Vauxhall Calibra, and Holden Calibra, 95 to 2002 Opel Vectra B, Vauxhall Vectra B, Holden Vectra, Chevrolet Vectra B, 98 to 02 Saab 93 OG, 97 to 09 Saab 95. Do note this was a GM 2902 stretch platform. And finally the 2000 to 2005 Saturn L series. So I've got a copy of Autocar magazine from August 1993 where they specifically tested a 2.3 16-valve ruby red 5-door. Now they gave it 3 out of 5 on the verdict, and this is what they said. The 900 isn't a bad car, nor is it one that Saab should be anything but proud of. After all, it advances the art of the 900 by providing all the interesting unique qualities usually associated with a model: alternative styling inside and out, functional, practicality, value and individuality, and adds a few more new welcome attributes: strong performance and genuine spaciousness to complete the picture. Old 900 owners will love it. All fears it might be a little more than a rebodied Cavalier can be unequivocally dismissed. Its problem is, despite this, the overall picture it paints is merely pleasant, not a masterpiece, in a class full of talent as one is right now. Being simply a good car is not quite good enough, and with cars like the new Mercedes C-Class on the horizon, life for the impressive and deserving 900 is unlikely to get any easier. In October 96, Saab selected 6 standard NG900s and took them to the Talladega International Speedway to test their endurance on track over a period of 8 days. The only modifications to the cars were a roll cage and seatbelt harnesses. The event was called the Talladega Challenge. The 6 cars included naturally aspirated, turbo and V6. Journalists from all over the world were invited to participate, and this was the 10-year anniversary of the first time Saab came to the Speedway with a series of 9,000 model cars.
2, 1.
On the 24th of October 1996, car number 1 rolled over the finish line. It had been driving flat out for 24 hours a day over 8 days and smashed 40 international records. This car was fitted with a B204 turbo engine and covered a distance of 25,000 miles with an average speed of 141 miles an hour. The car only stopped for driver changes, tyres, fuel and servicing. A full service was performed at 20,000 miles in a time of only 2 minutes. One car did crash out in poor night weather, but the driver was unharmed and praised the car's safety credentials. Saab celebrated this event by building a limited edition Talladega model that was available between 1997 and 1998. Because this car was registered in Chester 30 years ago, when I was thinking of places to film, there was one place that stood out, and that was obviously Chester. We headed out really early to get this footage of the car. There was no one about, and the weather was brilliant. I've owned this car around about 18 months now. I have done a previous video where you can actually go and look in a bit more detail at some of the modifications I've done to this car and some of the improvements. One more recent improvement since that video was filmed is I managed to source 2 sets of early wheels, the correct 3-spoke wheels. One set was not so good, so I sold those on, and the set you see on the car now is the better set. So not only did I fit new wheels, I put new tyres on, and the new tyres have made quite a big difference to the handling of the car and the way the car rides. A few weeks ago I completed quite a time-consuming job on this car, and that was to replace the headlining. Ever since I've had the car, it's been falling apart, bits falling off, and just generally annoying me. So I removed the headlining, sourced some new material, and it's now as good as what it was in 1994. It makes me really happy that this car generally gets a really positive response wherever I go. It's such a rare car. They had such a short production run, only 4 years compared to 15 years to the classic 900 that came before. People actually really like it, and I think the red paintwork really helps this car stand out. The driver controls on this car are relatively heavy compared to a modern vehicle. It's got a cable operated clutch, which makes it heavy. It's got a very well weighted steering feel. The gear change, although accurate, is sometimes a little bit awkward. And if you're caught in the wrong gear, you will be faced with that age-old Saab issue of turbo lag. But do you know what? That's what really adds to the character of this car. Last year when I put the car in for the MOT, it failed on front brake hoses. So I took the opportunity to replace all of the brake hoses, but I improved them and replaced them with some stainless steel Goodrich brake lines. In the process, I bled the brakes, which made them feel 100 times better, and I was lucky to find some new old stock Tarox brake discs and brake pads. They are both fast road pads and discs, and the stopping power on this car is actually quite phenomenal now. On May the 31st, 1994, Mr. and Mrs. Rignall drove down this very ramp onto this exact road after buying their brand new Monza Red Saab 900 Turbo from Henleys of Chester. Henleys of Chester is long gone, but right now we're just driving past what would have been the front of the showroom. Now, as a child and growing up, I do remember this dealer. They used to sell Jaguar, and I'm sure they used to sell Rolls-Royce. I always used to enjoy cycling past, or walking past, or riding on the bus and seeing what exclusive cars they had for sale inside. So the Saab can be seen here driving away from the former A&A Brooks Saab garage in Rossett. This was only a number of miles down the road, but this is where this car was serviced for over a decade. I thought it was an interesting place to stop and have a look. Quite literally a stone's throw around the corner from A&A Brooks Saab in Rossett near Wrexham is where this car lived for over 20 years. Now I reckon it lived in that garage, because this car is in really good condition, as you're about to see on the next clip. I'm really sad to report Mr. and Mrs. Rignall both passed away recently. Before I bought the car, I was really lucky to get a video of the underside, which I've kept, and I thought I'd share it with you because it's in really good condition. It's got a new exhaust on here, but I actually removed that and sold it, and I put a Jet-X on because I didn't really like the standard exhaust. It didn't look great. As you can see, the shocks and springs are in great working order. The brakes pipes are good. The chassis legs are in good condition. It's well protected. It's clearly been wax oiled. The floor pan is in good condition. Andy's just pointing out that he had to do a repair patch. This is very common on this particular model because water leaks in and it gets stuck in the bottom of the wheel well, and it just rots through. As you can see, the sill is in good condition. It had a 9.3 subframe fitted because the old one rotted out. Again, that's common, but not hard to change. And you can see the Saab twin wishbone system, which is something that General Motors didn't do. On General Motors platforms, it would have been cast steel, not aluminium. Andy's just pointing out that there was a leak from the drive shaft seal, but I think it was actually coming from the cam cover gasket. That was sorted as soon as I bought it, and I don't think it's leaking anymore. It really is in great condition for a 30-year-old car in the UK. Oh, the road's closed.
Are you joking?
Doesn't work. Go the other way. No, just keep recording.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, we won't get the story out shot, but it's not